Zechariah chapter 12. The revelation of the word of the Lord concerning Israel. The Lord, he who stretches out the heavens and lays the foundations of the earth, who forms the human spirit within a person, says, I am about to make Jerusalem a cup that brings dizziness to all the surrounding nations. Indeed, Judah will also be included when Jerusalem is besieged. Moreover, on that day I will make Jerusalem a heavy burden for all the nations, and all who try to carry it will be seriously injured. Yet all the peoples of the earth will be assembled against it. In that day, says the Lord, I will strike every horse with confusion and its rider with madness. I will pay close attention to the house of Judah, but will strike all the horses of the nation with blindness. Then the leaders of Judah will say to themselves, the inhabitants of Jerusalem are a means of strength to us through their God, the Lord who rules over all. On that day, I will make the leaders of Judah like an igniter among sticks and a burning torch among sheaves, and they will burn up all the surrounding nations right and left. Then the people of Jerusalem will settle once more in their place, the city of Jerusalem. The Lord also will deliver the homes of Judah first, so that the splendor of the kingship of David and of the people of Jerusalem may not exceed that of Judah. On that day, the Lord himself will defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the weakest among them will be like mighty David, and the dynasty of David will be like God, like the angel of God, the Lord before them. So on that day, I will set out to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. I will pour out on the kingship of David and the population of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication, so that they will look to me, the one they have pierced. They will lament for him as one laments for an only son, and there will be a bitter cry for him like a bitter cry for a firstborn. On that day, the lamentation in Jerusalem will be as great as the lamentation at Hadad Rimmon in the plain of Megiddo. The land will mourn, clan by clan, the clan of the royal household of David by itself, and their wives by themselves, the clan of the family of Nathan by itself, and their wives by themselves, the clan of the descendants of Levi by itself, and their wives by themselves, and the clan of the Shemites by itself, and their wives by themselves, all the clans that remain, each separately with their wives. Chapter 13. In that day, there will be a fountain opened up for the dynasty of David and the people of Jerusalem to cleanse them from sin and impurity. And also on that day, says the Lord who rules over all, I will remove the names of the idols from the land, and they will never again be remembered. Moreover, I will remove the prophets and the unclean spirit from the land. Then, if anyone prophesies in spite of this, his father and mother to whom he was born will say to him, You cannot live, for you lie in the name of the Lord. Then his father and mother to whom he was born will run him through with a sword when he prophesies. Therefore, on that day, each prophet will be ashamed of his vision when he prophesies, and will no longer wear the hairy garment of a prophet to deceive the people. Instead, he will say, I'm no prophet. Indeed, I'm a farmer, for a man has made me his indentured servant since my youth. Then someone will ask him, What are these wounds on your chest? And he will answer, Some that I received in the house of my friend. Awake, sword, against my shepherd, against the man who is my associate, says the Lord who rules over all. Strike the shepherd, that the flock may be scattered. I will turn my hand against the insignificant ones. It will happen in all the land, says the Lord, that 2/3 of the people in it will be cut off and die, but 1/3 will be left in it. Then I will bring the remaining third into the fire. I will refine them like silver is refined, and will test them like gold is tested. They will call on my name, and I will answer. I will say, These are my people, and they will say, The Lord is my God. Chapter 14. A day of the Lord is about to come when your possessions will be divided as plunder in your midst. For I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem to wage war. The city will be taken, its houses plundered, and the women raped. Then half of the city will go into exile, but the remainder of the people will not be taken away. Then the Lord will go to battle and fight against those nations, just as he fought battles in ancient days. On that day, his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, which lies to the east of Jerusalem, and the Mount of Olives will be split in half from east to west, leaving a great valley. Half the mountain will move northward, and the other half southward. Then you will escape through my mountain valley, for the mountains will extend to Azal. Indeed, you will flee as you fled from the earthquake in the days of King Uzziah of Judah. Then the Lord my God will come with all his holy ones with him. On that day there will be no light. The source of light in the heavens will congeal. It will happen in one day, a day known to the Lord, not in the day or night, but in the evening there will be light. Moreover, on that day, living waters will flow out from Jerusalem, half of them to the eastern sea, and half of them to the western sea. It will happen both in summer and in winter. The Lord will then be king over all the earth. In that day, the Lord will be seen as one with a single name. All the land will change and become like the Arabah from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem will be raised up and will stay in its own place from the Benjamin gate to the site of the first gate, and on that corner gate, and from the tower of Hananel to the royal wine presses. And people will settle there, and there will no longer be the threat of divine examination. Jerusalem will dwell in security. But this will be the nature of the plague with which the Lord will strike all the nations that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh will decay while they stand on their feet. Their eyes will rot away in their sockets, and their tongues will dissolve in their mouth. On that day there will be great confusion from the Lord. Among them they will seize each other and attack one another violently. Moreover, Judah will fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all surrounding nations will be gathered up, gold, silver, and clothing in great abundance. This is the kind of plague that will devastate horses, mules, camels, donkeys, and all the other animals in those camps. Then all who survive from all the nations that come to attack Jerusalem will go up annually to worship the King, the Lord who rules over all, and to observe the Feast of Tabernacles. But if any of the nations anywhere on earth refuse to go up to Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord who rules over all, they will get no rain. If the Egyptians will not do so, they will get no rain. Instead, there will be the kind of plague which the Lord inflicts on any nations that do not go up to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. This will be the punishment of Egypt and of all nations that do not go up to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. On that day, the bells of the horses will bear the inscription, Holy to the Lord. The cooking pots in the Lord's temple will be as holy as the bowls in front of the altar. Every cooking pot in Jerusalem, Judah, will become holy in the sight of the Lord, who rules over all, so that all who offer sacrifices may come and use some of them to boil their sacrifices in them. On that day, there will no longer be a Canaanite in the house of the Lord, who rules over all. We've come to the end of the book of Zechariah. Next time we're going to be reading the book of Malachi. I'll see you then.